7 reasons why dating is wrong and you should just get married. At least according to I Kissed Dating Goodbye. So welcome back to our Cringe Book Club. We are going through this book that traumatized a generation. In chapter 2, he focuses on 7 reasons why dating is bad. So let's get into it. First, dating leads to intimacy, but not necessarily commitment, which honestly just sums up this entire book. One thing I'm realizing is that he tells little stories throughout the book to scare you, and it works. So he tells the story about Jamie, and basically Jamie gets broken up with, and despite the fact that they had not gone beyond a kiss, Jamie had completely given her heart and emotions to Troy. Troy had enjoyed the intimacy while it served his needs, but then rejected her when he was ready to move on. Don't be like Jamie. And I really feel like this is why this book is way beyond purity culture, because it even says that all they did was kiss, but she is shattered. So essentially, first one is you can be close with someone, but it doesn't mean that they're gonna marry you. And I love this quote. Intimacy without commitment is like icing without a cake. It can be sweet, but it ends up making us sick. 2, dating tends to skip the friendship stage of a relationship, which I have heard this one before. So, I mean, this isn't the craziest thought in the world, but I think what's interesting is he makes it seem like you cannot grow in friendship as you know someone, that you were kind of stuck forever in this shallow sort of relationship. 3, dating often mistakes a physical relationship for love. And there was a crazy story in this section where he is telling the story about Heidi and Dave, who end up going on a date, and they had gone to a concert and then they come back home to watch a movie. So during the movie, Heidi makes a joke about Dave attempting to dance during the concert. He started to tickle her. Oh God, guys. Their playful wrestling suddenly stopped and they found themselves staring into each other's eyes. And Dave leaned over her on the living room floor. I'm like, I feel like I'm interrupting something. Very descriptive, but essentially he's just saying they skipped getting to know each other better because it just felt right in the moment and it makes you feel closer than you are. And again, this book just really highlights the idea that you cannot trust your emotions. So this section ends with, if many people in dating relationships really examine the focus of their relationships, they'd probably discover that all they have in common is lust. What a wild assumption to say that people who are in relationships probably only have lust in common. I think that is very judgy because a lot of people do have deep connections, but obviously it's easier to just demonize the whole thing. 4, dating often isolates a couple from other vital relationships. So in this section, he just talks about how when you are in a dating relationship with someone, you might stop going to church or your men's Bible study and you will neglect all the other relationships in your life. So don't be distracted. 5, in many cases, dating distracts young adults from their primary responsibility of preparing for their future. Here we have another dating horror story about Christopher and Stephanie. So they didn't take things too far physically, but when they broke up, they realized that they had not put time into their other skills and basically they had wasted their high school years. So he's basically trying to scare us into thinking that we are going to be bums and that we should have really been developing our skills at the time, that Christopher was really into computer programming and his involvement in the church worship band, but he was distracted by his relationship with Stephanie. And this quote got me. It said, dating may help you practice being a good boyfriend or girlfriend, but what are those skills really worth? A lot. Oh my gosh, you learn so much in relationships about communication, and I think that it is crazy that that was asked in a genuine way. 6, dating can cause discontentment with God's gift of singleness. Pretty self-explanatory, just be happy to be single. And lastly, dating creates an artificial environment for evaluating another person's character. And this one really got me because I could not disagree with this one more. His main point is that you are not getting the real person when you are dating them, that they are probably trying to impress you or seem cool, so you are getting an artificial version of who they are. How does she react when things don't go perfectly? When considering a potential mate, we need to find the answers to these questions. I agree. Questions that dating won't answer. I disagree. So let me get on my soapbox, okay? My ex was crazy and everybody loved him and thought that he was wonderful because he put on a very good face for literally everybody around him. He was super helpful in the church and he just seemed like an overall really, really good guy. Like he was paying for people's dinner. He seemed like he had a servant's heart. He was on his best behavior until a week before the wedding. We got engaged very quickly because I genuinely thought we will just make it work when we get married. Now, people can put on a good face with people that they don't see all the time. And I think that a lot of married couples would agree that the person who sees you at your lowest and maybe your most irritable or anything like that is your spouse or the person that you are dating and in a relationship with. So this idea that you're not getting the true them if you were dating them and somehow these other people in church are seeing the true them, I disagree. There is so much value in dating. So follow for the next part and we will go to chapter 3 of I Kissed Dating Goodbye.